Hello, this is News Live on Viewer Television. I am Mbasiti Jesse. Here are the headlines. President Muhammadu Buhari reacts as terrorists kill 38 people in Kaduna. Kaduna state government bans use of school premises for social gatherings. Plus, celebrations as leftist Boric elected Chile's new president. Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari on Sunday condemned the renewed terrorist killings in Kaduna State, saying that the gruesome nature of recent incidents in Kauran Fawa, Marke, and Ruhiya of Idasu Ward of Giwa local government area has made him particularly sad and the killings unacceptable. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, disclosed this in a statement titled President Buhari condemns gruesome terrorist killings in Kaduna State. Shehu said bandits within the week have also killed citizens in Zangun Kataf, Chikun, Birnin Gwari, Igabi, and Kauru local government areas of Kaduna State. Buhari also expressed the nation's condolences to the government of Kaduna State, the people of Zonkwa Chiefdom, and the family of His Highness Nuhu Baturi, the Agwam Kaju, on his demise. He affirmed that the nation's security forces have turned the hit on the terrorists who are getting frustrated and are soft-targeting innocent citizens, looting their assets, burning their homes, and killing them indiscriminately. The Kaduna State government has banned all social events, weddings, shows, and entertainment on public school premises. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, Dr. Yusuf Saleh, stated this in an interview with newsmen in Kaduna. Saleh said that the move was to protect school infrastructure from vandals. He disclosed that a circular had already been sent to all principals and head teachers in secondary and primary schools, directing them to stop giving out school premises for events and social gatherings. Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, has said that desperate opposition politicians, naysayers, and sponsored attackers are unrelenting in their efforts to rubbish President Muhammadu Buhari in spite of his monumental achievements as the president of the country. Speaking with reporters in Ilorin, Kwara State on Saturday in commemoration of President Buhari's 79th birthday, Mohammed said that the president has also set the country on a trajectory of growth and development. Reeling out the administration's achievements, Mohammed said the Buhari's regime has leapfrogged Nigeria to the modern rail era, set the nation on the path of unprecedented infrastructural development, built the second Niger bridge that his predecessors only built on paper, gave Nigeria its first modern airport, terminals in decades, provided a social safety net for the poor, and introduced school feeding system that has helped push up school enrollment. The Enugu state government on Monday banned unauthorized use of public educational institutions for social and sporting activities. The ban is contained in a public service announcement issued by the State Commissioner for Education, Prof. Uche Eze, titled Use of Public Schools in Enugu State for Social and Sporting Activities. He said the ban was sequel to an attempt by some unpatriotic and callous individuals to vandalize and steal facilities government put in place in academic institutions at the basic, secondary, and tertiary levels for the advancement of education in the state. The Nigerian Army on Sunday said an unnamed female soldier who got romantically entangled with a male Corps member at the National Youth Service Corps orientation camp in Yekpata, Kwara State will be penalized for violating military rules and regulations. The Director of Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Onyema Nwachukwu, in an exclusive chat with newsmen, said the female officer violated military laws by getting involved in a public display of amorous relationship with a paramilitary trainee, a Corps member. Video clips showing a male Corps member proposing to a female soldier at the Kwara NYSC camp hit the internet days ago, eliciting pleasant reactions from many social media users. One of the video clips, apparently recorded on the camp's parade ground, showed the yet-to-be-identified Corps member holding a ring as he knelt to ask the female soldier to marry him. An NGO, Smile Givers Initiative and Charity Home, has advocated full implementation of the inclusion of vulnerable children in the budget planning at all levels of government to reduce crime rate nationwide. Adetutu Adegunju, Chief Executive Officer of the organization, said this at the 2021 Christmas celebration organized to share with vulnerable children and orphans in the community. The hospital and healthcare professionals, Adetutu Adegunju, was represented at the event by Mofoluasho Johnson, an executive of the NGO. No fewer than 120 children from schools in Iyana Church, Akobo, General Gas areas of Ibadan, attended and received various gifts from Santa Claus. They could not hide their joy at the event.
These children are our tomorrow, and whatever we put in them is what we grow with them, and that is why we concentrate on this little one to put smiles on their faces. We call it 2021 Christmas Gracia, and it's to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, to share with the vulnerable children and orphans in this community that we have. We budgeted for 100 children, but eventually we have like 120 and above. We were able to manage the situation. We can't do away with vulnerable children in our community and the environment at large. We can only do our own quota, but we're urging the government to go to the grassroots. So if the government can go to the grassroots, they should put more effort and include these children in their budgets so that everybody will live well. As we're putting smiles on these children's faces, what I've discovered in life is that you cannot give what you don't have. So we're trying as much as possible to build tomorrow for this nation.
When News Live returns, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba, has submitted the probe panel report on the suspended head of the Intelligence Response Team, Abba Kyari, to the Police Service Commissions. Details of this and more comes to you after the break.
Advertise your products and services on our platform. Viewer Television is here to give your business a boost with a touch of professionalism. If you're a brand owner, entrepreneur, proud business owner, let's place your business in the face of your customers. Contact us so we can talk business on 081-2121-2278 or info@viewertv.com.ng. Always remember, we are here for you.
Welcome back. If you just joined us, this is News Live. A recap of our top stories. Muhammadu Buhari reacts as terrorists kill 38 people in Kaduna. Kaduna State Government bans use of school premises for social gathering. Plus, celebrations as leftist Boric elected Chile's new president. The Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba, has submitted the probe panel report on the suspended head of the Intelligence Response Team, Abba Kyari, to the Police Service Commission. This is coming almost 6 months after the SIP, led by DIG Joseph Egbunike, submitted its report to the IG. A commissioner on the PSC, Austin Bremo, confirmed to Newsman that the commission will deliberate on the issue this week. He said the PSC Standing Committee on Discipline is still going through the report, adding that the report will be presented to the PSC plenary subsequently. Kyari was queried and his response was delivered to the Force Disciplinary Committee. The Nigerian Communications Commission has set $0.045 as the new international termination rate for voice services paid by overseas telecom carriers for terminating international calls on local networks in Nigeria. The Commission said the new rate, which takes effect January the 1st, 2022, is the floor price for ITR services. Director, Public Affairs, Dr. Ikechukwu Adinde, disclosed this in a statement titled NCC Sets New Mobile International Termination Rate for Voice Services. However, while the ITR only pertains to the cost of bringing traffic into Nigeria, Nigerian operators will continue to pay the regulated mobile termination rate, MTR, the local termination rate among themselves. As part of activities making the 2021 Press Week, the Nigerian Union of Journalists Plateau State Council has held colloquium and fundraising to help build the NUJ House in Jos, the state capital, the Plateau State capital. Our correspondent Nasiru Saidu tells us more.
This year, the NUJ Plateau State Council invited special guests to have a serious discussion regarding issues facing the nation.
When we came on board, we had actually added the colloquium aspects to it because we thought that we needed to add our voice to things that are happening in our society so that we too, as agenda setters, would say something, set the agenda so that the society will know, will follow what we have been speaking.
Guest speakers and discussants, while discussing on the topic tackling food crisis in Nigeria through robust research for sustainable development, says the insecurity facing Nigeria as a nation is one of the major factors that has created food crisis.
What is responsible for the food crisis in Nigeria? And how can we leverage robust research in order to engender sustainable development in the Nigerian polity? Many people would attribute the food crisis in Nigeria to the general state of insecurity in this country. If there is no security, it means that the farmer is not able to go to the farm. We've had situations where the farmer is able to go to the farm and the crops that have been planted are mowed down.
Agriculture is not just an economic venture, it is a national security program. And that is why three things are going for Israel: agriculture, ICT, and security.
We want to farm. Likewise, say for instance, because of the vast land that we have and what God has blessed us with, there's basically nothing that you cannot farm in us. Unfortunately, 50% of the land mass has been taken over by terrorists. And people cannot go and farm.
Definitely, security is not for only one person. It's a responsibility of every one of us. Once, if you are going to put your hands in deck, definitely you are going to securitize your area. And even the securities, they are not angels. They use the people of that community in order to achieve their aim and objective.
Other guests at the event emphasized the need for collective fight against the increasing cases of insecurity facing Nigeria as a nation as a way forward toward ending food crisis. Nasru Saidu, Viewer TV News, Jos.
The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has asked all prospective candidates for the 2022 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examinations to acquire their national identification numbers ahead of the exercise. The board stated this on Monday in its weekly bulletin released by the Office of the Registrar in Abuja. JAMB said that it will soon start the sale of application documents and registrations for the 2022 UTME and direct entry. According to JAMB, IBASS is on the board's website and can also be downloaded on Google Play Store and other similar platforms. The board said that the next stop was for candidates to create their profiles by sending their NIN to 55019 to create a profile for registration. JAMB added that it had put adequate measures in place to checkmate those who might want to cheat. It said that it had also strengthened all administrative procedures for the smooth prosecution of any candidate, center, or staff of JAMB found to have been involved in an infraction. The United States says Nigeria has the most of the tech startup fundings in Africa for 2021. Speaking at the Nigeria Tech Summit in Abuja, the U.S. Ambassador to Nigeria, Mary Beth Leonard, said African startups raised about $2.9 billion in total, whereas Nigerian-based companies raised $1.7 billion. Leonard, however, reiterated the U.S. commitment to offer support to Nigeria's burgeoning technology and innovation space. She expressed the hope that an enabling environment would help create more global businesses birthed in Nigeria, adding that the COVID-19 pandemic did not hinder the support the U.S. government offered. Dr. Conrad Okpara, an optometrist and a serving youth corps member with the Ministry of Defense, have distributed reading glasses to internally displaced persons and students with visual challenges. Okpara told a newsman in Abuja at the end of a 3-day free eye screening and sensitization program tagged Vision First Initiative that it was a needed service to humanity. He said the program featured distribution of eye drops, basic health checks, as well as sensitization to personal hygiene, among others. In a separate interview, Kome Awaride, CDS officer in charge of SDG, commended Okpara for coming up with the initiative.
Project, quite community development project, designed to reach out to kids, children, and the rural community. Now, this is in terms of giving back to society in the same way that's given to us. Designed to reach out to communities and children. When I mean communities, I mean communities in the rural areas. Now, these communities are communities that have been greatly affected by public conflicts, public insecurity, and those that don't have that means to survive or to afford these health facilities, as I have rightly said. So, what we try to do is try to reach out, give back, provide free screening, free eye checks, provide basic checks like the blood pressure, if then we have the HIV, we have HIV kits inside us to test them, to determine their HIV status, to check the blood sugar too, and also to ensure that we give them adequate reading glasses, because most of them have difficulties reading. When you go to the IDPs, you see a lot of older people that lack this ability to read well. So we try to provide glasses for them to be able to read.
Actually, says the children early enough to know if they can be corrected. We actually look at how many lives have been touched, and from when this project started, you can imagine how many lives have been touched so far. A lot of children have been tested. Most of them haven't even known about the eye problems that they might have had. Do you understand? Some of them might even be born with the eye defect, but because they haven't been tested, they would have.
And now in business news, the federal government has entered into partnership with Agence Française de Développement on the decarbonization of the Nigerian economy as part of measures to mitigate climate change effects. The Minister of State for Environment, Chief Sharon Ikeazo, disclosed this at the recent inauguration and inception workshop of the Nigeria Deep Decarbonization Project in Abuja. She explained that the Deep Decarbonization Project Nigeria was a national research and capacity building project for the implementation of a deep decarbonization pathway program in Nigeria. The minister said the purpose of the inauguration and inception work was to present the DDP project to the larger community of stakeholders to begin conversations on the scenarios and modeling options that could help Nigeria achieve its stated long-term climate objectives. The federal government's investment in road transport infrastructure has continued to impact positively on communities across the country. President Muhammadu Buhari has inaugurated the Kano to Maiduguri Road, Section 2, Shuwarin Azari, connecting Jigawa and Bauchi states. A statement issued in Abuja by the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing stated that the recently inaugurated 142.2 kilometers dualized road had increased to 5 the number of such roads completed and handed over the various communities in Nigeria within 3 weeks. In his address at the latest road inauguration, Buhari, who was represented by the Minister of Water Resources, Suleiman Adamu, called on Nigerians, especially the communities through which the roads passed, to take ownership and protect the infrastructure. The federal government has released 1 billion naira seed grant to Nasarawa, Plateau State, Adamawa and Kaduna states for the development of pilot ranches in their domains as part of measures to halt clashes between herders and farmers. It was learned on Sunday that the fund was released after about 22 state governors indicated interest in developing ranches in their states. On October the 27th, 2021, newsmen exclusively reported that no fewer than 22 states had written to the federal government to indicate interest in the National Livestock Transformation Program. The Senior Special Assistant to the President on Agriculture, Andrew, Kwasari, who also coordinates the NLTP, had told newsmen at the time that the federal government will start disbursing funds for model ranches in the next 1 week. Following incessant clashes between farmers and herders, the federal government in 2018 came up with various ranching models, including Ruga and the NLTP, to settle nomadic herdsmen who are mostly Fulanese. Investors in the Nigerian stock market gained 260 billion naira as 32 firms saw their share prices rise at the end of trading last week. The Nigerian Exchange Limited All-Share Index and market capitalization appreciated by 1.12% and 1.16% to close the week at 42,353.31 and 22.11 trillion naira respectively. A total turnover of 1.32 billion shares worth 15.33 billion naira in 18,292 deals was traded last week by investors on the floor of the exchange, in contrast to a total of 2.63 billion shares valued at 26.90 billion naira that exchanged hands in 20,848 deals the previous week. The financial services industry, measured by volume, led the activity chart with 899.77 million shares valued at 7.33 billion naira traded in 9,326 deals, thus contributing 68.32% and 47.78% to the total equity turnover, volume, and value, respectively. And now on the international scene, the streets of Santiago erupted in celebration Sunday after leftist millennial Gabriel Boric became Chile's youngest ever president-elect with an unexpectedly large victory over his far-right rival in a polarizing race. President Sebastian Pinera, who leaves office with a low approval rating, said Sunday the country was living in an environment of excessive polarization, confrontation, disputes. Boric had campaigned on the promise of installing a social welfare state, increasing taxes and social spending in a country with one of the world's largest gaps between rich and poor. The new president will face the difficult task of healing a society reeling from a polarizing campaign replete with antagonistic attacks and fake news onslaughts. Hundreds of people have braved sub-zero temperatures in Afghanistan's capital to queue outside the passport office a day after the Taliban government announced it will resume issuing travel documents. Many began their wait the previous night and most stood patiently in single file, some desperate to leave the country for medical treatment, others to escape the Islamist renewed rule. Tense Taliban personnel periodically charged crowds that formed at the front of the queue and at a nearby roadblock. The local branch of the Islamic State group, the Taliban's principal enemy, killed more than 150 people in late August when citizens massed at Kabul airport in a desperate effort to leave during the early days of the new regime.
اسم امید نصیر است، یک تن از هنرمندای کوچک افغانستان. مدت 5 ماه میشه از حکومت طالبان که آمده، ما فعلا بیکار هستیم. دیگه کسی در قصه ما نیست، کسی تو در فکر هنرمندی و گپا نیستن، کسی اگر زیاد تعدید کس هنرمند است در یک مملکت، همه کسی هیچ در قصه هنرمندی گپا نیستن.
در ډیره حد موږ غواړو چې خلک منظم کو، خو خلک د ستونزو له امله په موږ باندې حملې کوي. نو د حملو له وجې کله موږ ډېر د نرمۍ نه کار ورڅخه اخلو، خو کله زیاتره خلک په نرمۍ نه پوهېږي، یو ورې منډې کوي، نو حالت ډېر خراب شي. موږ غواړو چې کوم انتحاري او انفجار رامنځته نه شي او د خلکو امنیت ونیسو.
Thousands of peaceful protesters demonstrated in Brussels on Sunday for a third time against the reinforced COVID-19 restrictions imposed by the Belgian government to counter a spike in infections as the Omicron variant sweeps across Europe. A strange police presence and widespread preventive controls were displayed for the march, given how previous protests had descended into violence, but only 13 arrests were made for rebellion and possession of prohibited articles. Also Sunday, the Brussels-based European Commission agreed with Pfizer-BioNTech to accelerate the delivery of vaccines starting in a few weeks. The pharmaceutical giant will deliver an additional 20 million vaccine doses from January to March to the European Union's 27 nations. More than 30,000 people have been evacuated from their homes in Malaysia as the country battles some of its worst floodings in years. The tropical nation in Southeast Asia often experiences stormy monsoon seasons towards the end of the year, with flooding regularly prompting mass evacuations. Downpours since Friday have caused rivers to overflow, submerging many urban areas and cutting off main roads, leaving thousands of motorists stranded. Typhoon Rai, the strongest typhoon to hit the Philippines this year, ravaged the southern and central regions of the archipelago, knocking out communications and electricity in many areas, ripping off roofs and toppling concrete power poles. More than 300,000 people fled their homes and beachfront resorts as Rai slammed into the country on Thursday as a super typhoon. The death toll from the strongest typhoon to hit the Philippines this year surpasses 200 on Monday, as desperate survivors pleaded for urgent supplies of drinking water and food. The Philippine Red Cross reported complete carnage in coastal areas after Typhoon Rai left homes, hospitals, and schools ripped to shreds. And that's all on News Live. But before we go, a recap of the headlines. President Muhammadu Buhari reacts as terrorists kill 38 people in Kaduna. Kaduna state government bans use of school premises for social gatherings. Plus, celebrations as leftist Boric elected Chile's new president. Many thanks for watching. I am Ambassador Jessie. Please stay tuned and enjoy the rest of our programs.